I'm just gonna say, like, we all saw it on your screen there. Like, the percentages came up, and 6 Karma, a big fat whopping 0%, and you're like, oh, you chose this map. All right. But once again, I think that they've probably refined some of the stuff in order to make sure that this can be a little bit better. And yeah, talking about that harbor coming into this, I'm wondering whether or not that is one of those things where it's like, hey, you know, we saw some of the strategies that we're playing at champs, and well, the champions were kind of running that harbor here, so maybe we should try something there. Might be a comfort pick as well. But regardless, if I'm watching anybody, for me, it's gonna be Hosera on that chamber. I'm expecting crazy things coming out from that Sentinel specifically.
He's been a consistent pin in mid, thorn in the side for so much of Abyss's lifespan in LATAM. 6 Karma is so willing to just let him play completely by himself on that cutoff margin, despite how long the round rages on. This time, though, he'll have his himself perked up and beat as Red Canids begin the stack onto the A site. Here's where you should be seeing that change with the harbor begin to come into play. Let's Prozine kind of take a little more time with setting up these smokes a little more surgically, and they will try to take over this entire site. Let Maestro go forward. OdaQ stops him for 1. But Red Canids have the confidence to get onto the site with the help of these smokes as they'll dissipate. Pelencito will start to shred away at these off angles, but really tough to do at the moment where you don't know how much of the presence is coming forward. And in fact, Red Canids will not stick the spike. Rather, they'll head to the back line, give Prozine room to meet this entire stack that's waiting here. He'll swing into it. Everyone on Red Canids will, and they'll get away with 1 on the way out as the spike starts to tick down. And now that wall, once again, cycling through, preventing 6 Karma from having a good entry for this post plant. Very well set up here from Red Canids. It is a tank that Prozine can just shoot through. RGL joining in on the fun too. It's nearly flawless from Red Canids here on the pistol.
Yeah, a great opener coming out from them. Red Canids really using the harbor utility kind of well, because, you know, you got the wave moving forwards. Oh, we got some smokes down to the back. There are so many different spots then that the Yoru can kind of infiltrate in behind. It's almost like they're just generating walls on their own in order to really just throw a wrench into, well, where exactly is our duelist going to be walking in there? And that claims so much space because you see 6 Karma not necessarily sure on what is safe, what they're able to take, and suddenly Maestro's just in their face with pistol in hand and is able to find a kill. So next, let's just kind of play around here. Let's see how long this is going to work out. This time around, they've got quite the arsenal coming through here. It's going to be the sheer place as well, just to keep Hosera honest, as Red Canids are looking more towards that B site, while making sure that they go a little bit slower. They're expecting a little bit more aggression coming out from 6 Karma on this defense, and that's an easy kill.
They'll get a pretty clear audience here. Mephisto on the step back is able to at least get away with 1. And Red Canids will slow it down here. See if anybody else gets antsy. Pelencito will be caught in mid here. And now with the high tide setup, they'll have a lot more confidence walking into this. Again, feels very necessarily sequential because you don't have that Astra. You can't exactly play checkpoints. It's got to be a lot more committal, and you got to get rid of Mephisto eventually. It'll take another body, though. Reducing this to a 2v3. Maybe 6 Karma gets away with 1 more body along the way here as that high tide falls. Forces a cascade as the spike gets held. And as you mentioned, that's a great way for Maestro in particular to kind of move forward when he's not dead on these rounds. Still, the post plant, once again, looks quite guaranteed with the guns that 6 Karma have this round. It'll very likely be a 2-0.
Teleport's ready.
At this point, they're just looking to potentially slap one of these rifles out of their hands. Of course, Sarah going to be the person who walks forwards there, able to at least find 1. A second would be an excellent job, and actually, this gets a lot closer down to a 1v1.
Pelencito holding the spike for the halfway mark, and luckily FRZ is there in time for it. But a little fragile after, once again, it's Hosera just walking up and taking names. That is certainly a way to get it done. And if you can continue, like, just diffing in the fights here, it doesn't really matter how prepared Red Canids come to this, even with the nice setups that it seems like RGL has.
I mean, once again, like, you know, people were like, wow, they're swapping him on Yoru for Haven. That's kind of interesting, but the solo plays just kind of coming through from Hosera have been a consistent anchor for 6 Karma. to win a lot of the games that they've played previously, especially to just kind of having Hosera play on their own and be able to either lock things down or add enough pressure into the backline to really make the other team guess themselves. That's going to really be the difference maker. And here, now 6 Karma, they're the ones with all the rifles coming through. A bit of a buy up from Red Canids. Gonna have 3 weapons on the table here to try and make something happen, but they are playing as patient as ever, which once again lends itself to how this kind of double controller style would really play for the composition.
Now I admire Red Canids trying to find the vulnerable spots so early into this half. Here on the bonus, already poking at that mid door, so Prozine boasts a bountiful presence in mid and could potentially enforce the crunch onto A that Red Canids are also trying to sell. 45 seconds as Mephisto is going to dip his head into the water. And he'll get out pretty much scot-free. Yep. Everything will dissipate. 6 Karma just sticking around.
You lose.
And that's the lurk found. FRZ can't make an impact here. And 6 Karma not really spread thin. At this point, there's enough of a stack on the A side to play reactively to it, despite the util dump. Was prepared for the recon dart to go a little more forward here, but Mephisto more than satisfied with just playing back, especially if Odaku can launch his util first. Mephisto, again, easy audience for the rest of 6 Karma to clear the headway. And this bonus round looks pretty clean. Prozine, only one remaining, 10 seconds to go. Might just want to look for the easiest body, and there isn't really one that exists. Odaku gets 3 on the board this round.
Yeah, a great round coming through from 6 Karma, and it really has to do with the duel taking place on the other side of the map there, because as soon as we see Hosera find that first kill, it's like, oh, okay, we know exactly where they're going to be going. And then suddenly we see them get set up for that pressure that we're expecting from Red Canids. It's so temperamental with how fast they want to move on onto the site. They need all of the chess pieces to fall into place before they decide to execute. But during that downtime, 6 Karma had time to get themselves set up as well and get ready to receive all of that pressure. And so I really do think that that comes down to a tempo thing that last round that makes sure that 6 Karma once again are ahead. This is now finally the proper rifle round coming in from Red Canids. They're immediately going to go up there, get Gabs closer to getting the Hunter's Fury online, and immediately just back out yet again. And meanwhile, 6 Karma, they've completely spread themselves out. More emphasis being placed on mid. They want to catch potentials of some of those rotations, or at least add that pressure, guarantee that space before Red Canids can kind of take over the rest of the map.
Drop the spike.
Recon dart by Peloncito. That'll make sure that 6 Karma can continue leaning the right way. Now a drone used by Red Canids to guarantee that no one's going to meet them early. They have to util dump, and they have to do it now. Sabor, phased by the vines, though, actually take a pretty penny of health in the process. Again, High Tide guarantees the site here for Red Canids. The practice is looking clean. They can continue just reducing, reusing, and recycling a site like this till the cows come home with the help of that High Tide. As long as RGL is standing, as long as he plays that inch back from where he was before, Red Canids can just keep on doing what they're doing. But 6 Karma can start entering with their ultimates, and Red Canids just play their own doorkeeper. After 2 enter, Mephisto not gaining nearly as much ground as he would have hoped to. They are going to just dip out. This fight's not for them, and Red Canids take it 3-1.
Yeah, they decide just to completely back out there and save their weapons. And it's so interesting watching this Waylay play, because after watching champs for so long, you kind of get used to a certain play style coming out from Waylay. And on top of that too, like the Desk talked about this very early on, Mephisto was one of those players who has been playing Waylay very early, but it does feel like the utility right now is more just on the style of kind of like that get in, get out. A lot more of typical of what you would expect from that duelist, whereas like during champs, it was a lot more, you know, you play in Waylay almost like a recon bolt type of deal. Go in there, get the information, maybe find a kill. Nope, can't find a kill. I'm gonna get out of there real fast. And instead, we're seeing a lot more aggression come through without necessarily the support coming from the rest of the 6 Karma squad. I mean, that last round really did a good job of kind of setting that up. Like, sure, they were getting stunned up, but a triple crossfire was waiting for the Waylay just to kind of go in alone. And immediately, we see Mephisto just get gunned down very early on. So things are not working out exactly how 6 Karma wanted things to go. And so they will be taking this time out rather early on to try and slow Red Canids down, you know, maybe figure out some sort of different extra plan here, because I do think that right now Red Canids, although it feels a lot slower in their approach, it is a lot more methodical, and they're doing a great job at draining the utility out from 6 Karma very early on in the round. That makes those retakes near impossible for 6 Karma to do.
Yeah, it's a lot slower, but it's a lot safer. And again, I think the compositional switch has a lot to do with that. RGL on this harbor, he's able to kind of set up whatever environment Red Canids need in the moment in order to guarantee the fight. You can set up the high tide if you want to play a little forward with that spike, if you want to crunch a fight very close. You can play a cove if you're getting hit from a backstab or a flank very quickly, and you just need an extra wall in your way to guarantee yourself a safe spot to play in. Or you can use that cascade to let someone like Maestro get in scot-free onto whatever space you want to end up taking. There are a lot of ways that Red Canids can dominate whatever space they deem necessary for their MO. It's tough for 6 Karma to stop Red Canids from doing exactly what they want to do on this attack.
Yeah, an excellent job from Red Canids very early on, like putting so much pressure onto the mid. Immediately, they get out some of that reusable utility. Prozen trying to find a couple of bullet damage there, but no one's going to be there. And that does give up a little bit more information. So 6 Karma, well, this is going to be the ultimate test for Hosera on whether or not he's able to just kind of lock down the site, give plenty of time for the reinforcements to come through, because it's a 5 stacks for Red Canids just outside of B.
And this is a position that's been read before. He's been here ready for FRZ's lurk once or twice, and in fact, diffed it too. Still though, a drone tossed in almost to just get the rest of the team on site. Just chauffeuring him, and it'll work. Prozine catching Mephisto before he can act again. Another cascade walling away. Ho! Who's able to only get one on the way down. Red Canids, again, a momentary setup as the high tide comes through, but Link is not covered. Maestro will do all of the dirty work though. And it's another dominant attack here for Red Canids. Yet again, a save coming out from 6 Karma. This time only 1 player strong.
Yeah, that was really tough for 6 Karma. Like, it felt like they were just kind of, for lack of better terms, just kind of trickling in onto the site there. Red Canids were ready for it. I mean, obviously, we see a lot more aggressive plays coming through, but genuinely speaking, Red Canids were just ready for the individual players. Sabor able to find one, but these initiation protocols coming in from Red Canids are looking stellar. And, well, the spike goes down really easily, and it's going to be 4-1 now as a 6 Karma. After a timeout, that's probably not the way they wanted this one to start out.
Still not a tough enough answer to this Red Canids team that just continues to blister through. You do, however, expect the same sort of maintenance coming from 6 Karma when sides do inevitably swap, though. You'll again see Hosera holding down mid a lot more consistently to let 6 Karma kind of just walk wherever they want to, and Mephisto, again, it's all about allowing him to be ubiquitous on this map, ever present, ever dangerous. Again, though, Red Canids, game plan looks sturdy, looks replicable, looks lasting, and now they have some things to support. Maestro, the dimensional drift will lessen the need for an owl drone to get this blunderbuss on site, and the smoke will actually sandwich the site, letting Maestro get his own solo 1v against Hosera. That is the easiest A site taken by Red Canids yet this game, and while it took some ultis, it looks gorgeous.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you just see Maestro just run into the back line. Hunter's Fury forcing the locations of those players to run right into Maestro. They're not even sure what's going on because there's just so many different sounds playing in your audio cues. Clean as ever and as fast as ever. And 6 Karma, like, they don't even know whether or not they should approach the Sabor with the operator in hand. Doesn't want to let that rifle go. And so it looks like they're going to be playing for exits yet again. This has been extremely one-sided for Red Canids on 6 Karma's map pick here.
Brick wall is starting to hit back. 6 Karma getting thwomped round around, forced to continue dissolving these attempts. And in fact, they'll lose another body along the way too. Red Canids starting to get boastful as they will get that signature all across this map, make both sides dangerous, start conditioning against those early chokeholds on both ends, continue stretching the 6 Karma defense thin on what is already a Swiss cheese defensive map.
Yeah, honestly, like, it really just feels like 6 Karma are having such a tough time being able to get themselves up. These little traps and little plays that we see from Red Canids just don't simply have an answer on the side of Six Karma. I am seeing them try to swap up their defense a little bit, you know, Jose going in onto the other side, but no matter which player is on that side, they still succumb to the pressure of everything that is going on. This time though, Mephisto going really in deep and will at least guarantee some of that space here. But well, given all the utility, you know where Red Canids are going.
Yeah, they're just gonna go even harder on the other side now that that's been given away. Zera, TP's back. Now that he has that operator in his hands, Six Karma can potentially enter a new phase of this half. Just taking dry shots as these smokes continue to get set up, though. Again, so much cycling you can do, and now the Steel Garden set up. A couple extra seconds after the spike goes down. Beautiful stalwart getting done by Red Canids. As that Arc Rose is going to confirm all of these positions, continue to slow Six Karma down. Guns are back, but is the defense so much so? Time is already running so thin. We'll use that Waylay ulti to get Mephisto online. Rest of the stack gonna try and follow suit, and it does a whole lot of work on the early tides of the site. Still Gabshi's playing on it, and he's doing so much work. 2 down, but that's all he'll get. And Six Karma will break through on the post plant, make it 2.
I have a feeling there that might have just been a misread from Red Canids. Knowing that the Waylay ult is going to be online, you can get convergent paths and just absolutely slow down to such a degree, and yet they still decide to mostly hold onto the site. They don't really have that insurance player that kind of backs things up too easily, and they all get kind of caught in the midst of the ultimate, allowing for a very easy sweep up from Six Karma then to just walk in and attack all of these slowed down and flashed up players. So excellent protocol, excellent bounce back from Six Karma playing off the Waylay ult. And you know, you can kind of see that some of these teams are still not really used to playing up against that Waylay, because honestly, Waylay has not been really used up until most recently in Champions. And once again, Mephisto, a Waylay player, so teams got to start to learn and counterplay a lot of those abilities.
Yeah, there's a certain type of gap that Waylay just has a real knack for making up compared to the other mobility duelists. Specifically when you're going for backstabbing or like mere annoyances. I feel like players who have committed have also gotten way better at getting value out of the saturate. So excited to see if Mephisto is going to be able to get active on this attack. Now that we've seen that convergent paths can do so much work if Red Canids misread.
Okay, well, a little bit of information gained, I guess.
Yeah.
Cancel so fast, no one even really know where that popped up on the map. But
I swear, Prozine always uses so much of his util so early in the rounds, and I always get the reason why. It just feels a little unconventional, and unfortunately, it also means that he just has to throw his body at the problem first most often. Six Karma have a lot that they can work with here, though, and after all is said and done, they'll just spray through the smoke and deal with the rest. Otaku gets 3 down before going down, and Maestro, again, puts on a nice show with that turn, almost getting the double kill with the dink. He's got the Phantom, so he's only 1 deep. And Six Karma starting to damage control in these 2 consecutive rounds.
Yeah, and I think that time around, it was just because they decided to take the fight themselves. You know, you have a better sense of when this team is going to be pushing in. Previous rounds that we've seen the Red Canids trying to push in onto that A site, it was kind of like, we're just going to hold these angles, and then the smoke comes up, and then the Six Karma players are like, we're out of here because we're going to get gunned down. But this time around, they just kind of stick around and are ready to take that fight. Otaku popping out there, spraying down into the smoke, but also flashing to slow that tempo. And suddenly those teleports can't come online in time for Red Canids. And a lot of that utility not necessarily gets wasted, but there's like a wrench getting tossed into the machinery.
Recovered.
We're operating just fine walking onto the B site this time. Nice vines to completely head away Sabor. TP up from Prozine into heaven against that Hunter's Fury, but Peloncito! That may already be the round! The rest of the team have so much confidence just poking away at the extremities, and now they realize that FRZ is by himself. Give Peloncito more! Sabor has got the site all on his own. And this is the booster round for Six Karma to get them back into this 2-0 pace they're trying to establish. The wave fully cleared, and the green one put back in its place. It's 4-5.
An excellent play there coming in from Peloncito, the player that is the promised one, the one who's been going for so long and has been such a highlight of Six Karma. Not only making the calls, but making the plays as well. That time with the Hunter's Fury, reading the Red Canids playstyle. Once again, they like to play grouped up, and gets 2 right off the bat, exactly like you said, seals the deal on that round because the rest of the players are nice and spread out, and suddenly all those nice clean protocols that we saw from Red Canids playing in that grouped up style, ready to push the aggression together, well, that simply gets taken off the table completely. And in response to that little bit of a tilter round, we actually see them now take a tactical time out here to try and continue to press that advantage forwards and try to secure more of these rounds in this half, because once again, if they lose this one, then that counts as a loss towards them. And then their game against Winthrop has to be a win. Otherwise, they will be sent home.
If 6 Karma, despite the fact that the half is almost done, if they're able to understand the step-by-step nature of how Red Canids has approached this by now, then the momentum from there should be unstoppable. Doing such a great job of, like you said, just dissolving the pack. And then once that team is far more scattered, you start punishing the soloists who are in those vulnerable positions. Such a great new way for 6 Karma to get those dominoes to start falling in this new map, new environment, new setting, new agent that they're having to play against as well. RGL's high tides have started to become much more of a nuisance than a necessity to work around here for 6 Karma. And something tells me we're going to start running in front of that water very soon if things continue going the way they are. You got 3 ults on the table too. I mean, this has every intention of going to 7-5, 6K's way.
Please, I'm hoping we get to see the Rolling Thunder off the map. That would be like the gift of the day if we somehow were able to watch that one happen. And based on how 6 Karma have been using these ultimates, specifically to stall and really, you know, interrupt the attack of Red Canids, I think it is a potential, although not likely, way to go. And yeah, sure. Hey, why walk in front of the water if you can just shoot in front of the water and find a kill out of Q? Very early on pick onto FRZ.
That's the right gamble to take. Very intelligent. Drone tossed out. Decoy clapped, and Sabor just walks into it versus the eco. Definitely feels a little more confident. RGL does boast this off angle still, though. So Mephisto perhaps a tad pressured, and now the drone confirming his position. Saturate to force the 1v1. Maestro has got his back covered. Very proactive considering the gap is now non-existent. 3v3, and the high tide is back up and running. Red Canids get the rhythm going again. And the spike is gonna fall. Flank from Hosera gets Maestro. Now Gobshis has to turn tail. And RGL forced into a steady 1v2. Oh! Hopping off with the op! Again, some style points added onto this retake that just feels inevitable. That's some stellar calling from Peloncito to get back on, I'm telling you.
Once again, like, Hosera just is that clutch player, is the one who's going to be able to hang out on his own, going to be guaranteed a couple of kills. The rest of the squad can move together. It's going to be fine. I do think that there was a little bit of a misplay coming in from Mephisto. I mean, getting a little bit too rambunctious with it, trying to use that Waylay ult to punish a lot of that. But at the end of the day, it just comes down to the rest of 6 Karma ready to sweep things up. And I was concerned for a second too, because the Rolling Thunder didn't necessarily guarantee all of the members onto the site. It wasn't as effective as I was really hoping it to kind of go through. But Red Canids, they still crumble under the pressure. And hey, you know what? At the end of the day, 6 Karma, they will take that round even if they lose that ultimate. They tie things up now, 5-5. Hosera now on middle. This is a new position for this chamber. And Red Canids have been kind of flirting with this mid aggression previous rounds. It doesn't look like they are going this time though, so rightfully avoiding the operator, especially knowing how powerful Hosera is, that could have been an instrumental thing for 6 Karma to pick up early on the round.
Yeah, and with that cascade, you also haven't cleared books, so Ho is prompted to kind of stick around despite how much aggression Red Canids is going to be able to toss at this A site. And with the Dimensional Drift plus the Cataclysm, you should be just fine. Hunter Fury 2, shoot, why not? Gobshis tosses it in, looks for Peloncito. He's going to be dodging all of this stuff. Aftershock included. They'll just get right in front of it, that's 2! And 6 Karma have more than enough to launch the problem again. The stack actually makes the Cataclysm a little tough to deal with, but 6 Karma will still get out just fine. And Sabor holds down FRZ on the trip up heaven. Another 3v1, another moment in which 6 Karma just manifests dominance. And they just need to finalize against this IGL. One of the newer kids on the block back from Red Canids, but also one of its longest standing alumni as a whole across VCT's existence. He can only get one. And 6 Karma take the lead on a defense that at the start of this half looked nigh impossible.
It looks like the initiation onto that site for Red Canids. It's almost like that Despicable Me Gru meme, you know, where it was like, all right, first we smoke the site, then we teleport into the site, and then we get sprayed down. Wait, why are we getting sprayed down just at the entrance here? It feels like 6 Karma have now figured out exactly how that initiation is going to go, and so they find those timings, whether or not it's OTQ just spraying through the smokes, knowing that the teleport is online. Easy. I can spray that smoke. Gonna find a couple of kills. That time, Pelancito just dodging a lot of that utility, still staying there because you see Red Canids expect the site to be cleared and then walks away with a nice, easy spray down. Fantastic stuff. A fantastic adaptation coming through from 6 Karma.
Another early cascade to try to sell some presents, force a member of 6 Karma to stick around, but at this point, the confidence just feels too clear. And the ultimates are gone now for Red Canids too. What do you even have to offer to this situation? What can be intimidating beyond something like that water that RGL just has to emptily toss now to get some stacks going?
Now this is a different look from Red Canids. It's so much more slower. They're not playing up in that grouped up version that we've been seeing them do so far. Finally spreading out, opting for a little bit of that map control this time and deciding that, yeah, we are going to be ending onto this B site. Keep in mind, Ho has that operator online, and that has been so difficult for Red Canids to be able to counterplay here. See if they're going to be able to do this one. They don't necessarily have any ultimates that can kind of flush that one out, but yeah, Ho gets away with one.
The double op setup. Ho's going to flex it all as long as he can. But Sabor has to stick around, and the Stars again playing purely preventatively. Can't make too much headway. Now the question is, does Ho play into the high tide? And Prozine yet again TPing up to heaven. This time he's rewarded for it. Very good proactivity from him this time. And 6 Karma, with a lack of clearing, now they have to guarantee that they can't get a backstab from the books before they make this 3v4 work. This is the best looking setup in a hot minute from Red Canids, and it may set them up for an even half. Post-plant fight comes early. Fault line forces Prozine's reposition. He's still caught by it. 1-for-1 on heaven. Pelancito turns onto a second and now does the heavy clearing as he's held away with the help of OTQ. Pelancito holding half of this spike as the recon dart gets covered. RGL, though, turns onto both and will make this half tied up.
Excellent stuff coming in from Red Canids to make sure that they can at least tie things up once again on the opponent's map pick. We see 6 Karma really adapting to a lot of their strategies, but well, Red Canids, they're not necessarily done yet and are still kind of showing those little changes.
That's, yeah, I think that taking those wide angles and getting up to heaven there was the really important part for Red Canids. Just taking as much space as possible on top of the space that you're trying to condense. We have a little chat with a special guest in the audience once more. Maybe favor some more support for these Brazilians that are still on the precipice of losing this match.
Fala, V7, tô com o Luquinha. Saudade de você, amigo. Uhul! Tá bonzinho?
Bem, e você? Como você tá?
Bom demais, mas assim, queria estar melhor aí, não queria estar 6-6 atacando na Bisa. Tá preocupando?
Tá não, confio nos moleques, o moleque tá trabalhando bastante aí, vai dar certo, graças a Deus.
Mas é muito ruim jogar na defesa da Bisa, amigo.
Mano, você acha?
Não, tô perguntando.
Ah, tá. Eu acho que os moleques se preparou, vai dar certo, eu acho. Faz tempo que eu não jogo a bis também, mas confio neles aí, no trabalho deles. O moleque é monstro.
E aí, já voltou a treinar já? Tá fazendo uns testes aí com alguém? Como é que tá? Conta pra nós. Uma fofoca, só tem você aqui, amigo.
Ah, só e você só.
Eu vou contar o que você me contou agora, hein?
Conta não. Mano, estamos fazendo uns testes aí pra ver quem vai jogar com a gente, mas não voltamos a treinar não, estamos sem time ainda.
Ó, a Deck já falou que ia ser 13-9 esse mapa pra Red. D6-6, você crava o palpite dela?
Mano, cravo 14-12 pra nós.
Pra que isso, amigo?
Não, gosto de sofrer.
Ele é um canalha, V7. E quando ele joga, faz nós sofrer, né?
A culpa não é minha, mano.
A culpa não é dele, V7. Mas é isso, tem uma galera da hora aqui, V7. Daqui a pouco eu volto. A salva de palma pro Luquinha. Monstro.
VCT Americas has been showing so much support for their friends. Vinci and Sato cheer on the play-in teams, especially. That guy knows everybody in this entire region at this point. So, but yeah, love seeing everybody show out for their friends.
I mean, it also makes sense too, right? Because some of these teams, like as we get further into Ascension, you're going to be seeing a lot of familiar names, kind of from that
Lucho
tier
was
1
here
scene.
last year on Galeries.
Yeah, exactly. Like the L2 VCT connection remains as strong as ever, and especially for the play-ins right now. Both Six Karma and Red Canids trying to find their spot to potentially be some of those players, because sure, one of these teams will be able to ascend, but we're in the middle of roster mania right now, Tenrek. I'm not sure if you're aware. And so this is an excellent opportunity for a lot of these players to kind of showcase what they're made of, especially as, well, we're in the off season right now. A lot of those VCT teams kind of looking at the talent coming out from this tournament.
You know, a decent chunk of the players that are in Ascension have already done some trialing with VCT teams at the very least, and you can bet your bottom dollar that the Ascended players won't be the only ones you'll see next year on the stage. A lot of poaching in the future for these players if they show out today and forward across the, the next 2 weeks. Six Karma on this attack half. We know what they're going to do. Unload and conquer. Red Canids dividing early with this cascade, able to get on site very quickly and try a reactive fight to maintain the control. And RGL, the one who facilitated it, gets 2 for himself. Turns this into a 1v1 against the face of Six Karma. Slightly more health on this Waylay, but already forced to fade away with this first check. And checking the backline as RGL rotates. It's the peak war, the end-all peak wars to get this lead back. And Mephisto does it again. 7-6, Six Karma.
I was going to say, like, we're starting to see a little bit more of that double controller come through on that defense. We see a lot more smokes kind of forcing a lot closer range battles, but especially on the pistol round, it can really go either way. Mephisto just being a little bit intelligent on how that was going to go, not just kind of swinging out, decides to back up instead so that there's just a smaller hitbox on the overall body size of your player, just to make sure that this is going to win things out. But a nice little 3K from Mephisto to close that round out. And yeah, it's going to be high emotions here, but Six Karma, they take the lead for the first time on this map, I believe.
Yeah. They're not going to want to part with it. Already trying to spread the resources out, force Red Canids to relieve themselves of this gamble stack with this eco. Seeing if Zera gets a freebie.
It's so patient, so quiet, and
yeah.
Once again, like, we were expecting this to be the aggro team. I think we only saw one round on that first map where they slowed things down, and maybe this is exactly just that. Placing the trap down, and Hosera, a lot of utility here, walking into the 4-man stack. This could be bad for Six Karma, and I don't know if they realize that.
It's so tough trying to dry clear with this trademark, but you can't clear the trademark on the other side. So it's like you get rid of that and have to try again with even less to enter with.
Gonna fall back here.
The only flashes you've got are O to Q, and they've already been gone. He just has the fault line, so Mephisto has to do a lot of dry clearing, and Pelencito from the back is going to be able to manage the heaven angle. Red Canids' reaction just isn't good enough here against the guns that 6K has to offer. They are able to take their time here. They are able to make sure that they keep all of these guns. As I imagine these first couple rounds, it's going to be tough to break back through against this double controller setup.
Yeah, it really is. But I love it because that last round, we got to see the human recon bolt. Just kind of going in there. Mephisto immediately on the Waylay, just going in, gets the information, distracts some of the players onto the site, and then you see the rest of Six Karma go through. They set up their flashes, and because everyone's just kind of trying to shoot down that Waylay, and the Waylay immediately just kind of gets out of there, it's easy pickings from Six Karma. We saw that a lot in Champs lately, and it is a very fun strat coming through from Six Karma. An early flash there, but they're not able to secure the kill on that counterpart, so both will go unpunished, but a little bit of util will get drawn out very early on in this round.
Yeah, it'll be Six Karma that has to use a little extra. That's, yeah, each of the members on that A precipice that'll let go of one thing, trademark and a shock dart down the drain. Mephisto now trying to take that passive space elsewhere as Maestro gets the opening kill, traded away after the saturates let go of an RGL blocked away and sprayed through by Hosera yet again. A lack of a visage does not prevent these teams from owning this area that has previously been deemed so empty. About to get one of the most attractive changes I've seen as well. I bet these teams are excited for that new tunnel for sure. Six Karma definitely is, as they've had to traverse all the way back in order to get to this one. But it just means they can reset the fight for mid, force Red Canids to spread themselves thin. Peloncito once again, just trying to make some extra space here on the B site, maybe sell some noise, but I don't even know if Red Canids is there to hear it.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, there's nothing to stop this flank either.
Yeah, like, this could not be good.
Oh, FRZ, why are you crossing the road?
The timing, it's going the wrong way. And
it's because that Vice
just because
util.
of that cheer. Like, at this point, 6karma should be able to get this site for free. It's only now that they realize what's going on, and thankfully at least 2 of the members are going to be here to try and deny it.
Oh, the spray through the boxes is massive on top of the recon, and Prozini extension the other way, so much quicker than 6karma expect. What a read from Gashis to keep 2 here, while FRZ manages the B solo. The bluff was doubled upon, and Peloncito is pre-fired by the IGL. What a bonus from Red Canids to keep their stability here.
That feels like it was just a series of unfortunate events. Like, you know, oh boy, that's interesting. Okay, well, 6karma got the mystery, and then the shear gets activated, and suddenly Red Canids have the mystery. They're going to the wrong site. But then actually 6karma had the mystery because then they went too fast in onto the site and gave away the information there, allowing Gabs to just walk through and find some kills very early on. And then the rest was basically just history there. It felt like, honestly, just a series of unfortunate events leading up to how that round went. Not necessarily docking any plays or any strategies there, but just bad information on both sides. What a silly round, Tenrek.
The bonuses definitely protrude, for sure, when it comes to the game plans. Another fun cascade, this time up mid to get Maestro way forward. But still, you're a little slowed down. It's a little tough to find the timing, and already Ozera has just barely walked out of here. Still, entirety of mid cleared off the rip here means 6karma have got to speed things up. Luckily, you have the perfect agent to do that with Mephisto, and now with this convergent paths, you can sort of set up whatever angled fight you want. FRZ, though, early to the problem. Again, 6karma might get dropped upon, and FRZ once again coming up to heaven. Indeed, Peloncito, surprised, but not beaten in the fight, down to 53, and 6karma can just hold it down from these wide angles on site, much less presence than before, and that means it can be a much more stronghold in the long run. Ozera now with this operator as well, and this is the kind of setup that 6karma would like to recycle for themselves. No one on Red Canids can really hold a candle to it. Gopshi's unable to make anything work with that stab in the back, and 6karma will make it 9-7.
Yeah, 6karma are starting to run away with that. I got to question a little bit how that retake was supposed to happen. It felt like all of the players on the side of Red Canids were like, I'm going to make a play. Yeah. I'm going to find my timing. I'm going to catch somebody off guard. But what that actually ended up doing is 6karma walked away with 2-3 kills pretty easily because they spotted somebody out of position without any support utility, without any support players, and then it's just making sure that they're able to really just cross their T's, dot their I's, play basic Valorant, make sure that they're playing together, and 6karma were able to scare off Red Canids from even approaching that retake. Obviously, a lot more of that post plant was put outside of that B site, just kind of towards the spawn to prevent that flank coming through, but Red Canids, like, their players weren't as coordinated as I would have expected to see them, especially based on how they played things on the attack, and especially with all of the different smokes in their pockets.
I'd expect FRZ to be that active because of that passivity that he has to kind of lean into more often than not, and also because FRZ, along with Gopshis, were the newer additions onto the team coming into this year. I think RGL, Prozine, and Maestro, who have been the core of Red Canids this entire year, much better at taking directions a little more quickly because Gopshis is just IGL'd for so long. He's able to adapt that quickly. I imagine FRZ kind of had that chat where he's given that little extra bit of independence because of that relative newness, because of that sentinel role, because of that insert lurk that he's been so consistent at. A real shame he can't get that opening kill, but I agree, the discombobulation for the rest of the core, very much unlike Red Canids for this retake. Could the nerves be slipping?
And Red Canids, they have more experienced players who should be used to this type of environment, used to this pressure. And here comes Maestro.
That's a beautiful flash on top of the smoke. It's only good for one of the spray down, though. And now the convergent pats to slow down the rest of the team on the entry. Prozine also shut down. And A-Site will get taken over. 6karma on the 4v3.
30 seconds.
Oh, jumping right up. Ozera misses the op shot, but just switches right to the headhunter and gets Gopshis too. Again, the individuality, the individual playmaking attempts just falling short here on the Sheriff round. RGL at least finalizing O to Q, but it's a 3v2 with such little in your hands. The cascade is the one way forward, the one angle at a time guarantee, but Ozera will just walk it down. That is almost unnecessary.
Wow. I mean, Hosera is just like, oh, I mean, you look on the side of Red Canids, they're like, all right, we're going to put the wall up. And then as a result of that, we should be able to get a little bit more space. And Hosera is just like, oh, you're putting a wall up in front of me? Would be a shame if I just walked around it. And to be fair, who does that? Well, apparently Hosera does, especially when he is feeling it. And based off how this defensive half has been going, you know that Hosera is locked in. This has been looking very good for 6 Karma up until these points. And you see Red Canids, a lot of that like precision, a lot of that rehearsal that we expect from this team just doesn't seem to be clicking as much right now. And this is where I really start to get worried, because once again, the big conversation between these two teams was 6 Karma. They're the ones who like to get aggressive. They're the ones who just kind of get in there and make things happen. Whereas on the Red Canid sides, it's a lot more of that macro play. You know, you rely on the players to make their individual calls while we see the IGL just kind of swing together the rounds. But how things have been going, a lot of the in-between on these rounds, that mid-rounding call, the little micro plays that are going on have not been landing in Red Canid's favor. And as a result of that, 6 Karma really are just kind of running away with this map.
Feels like Red Canids walked into this map with a lot of knowledge of how 6 Karma normally operate. Like the spider web was pretty well mapped, but 6 Karma have made a whole bunch of new sticky bits. I think Hosera has built a lot more independent, being able to move forward rather than so consistently up until this point in 6 Karma's lifespan, kind of being a much more similar role to FRZ, where you're playing from such a distance that you continue to play as this nuisance, this intolerable bit of damage that continues to get done. But Ho is doing all the killing, too, in the meantime. He's walking in front of the cascade with an operator! Stop it!
You called it. You called it. Oh, but yeah. Gonna get checked, so has to just kind of snap your way out of that one. And at least that does apply quite a bit of pressure on the mid. So you see Red Canids just really just feeling out the map at this point. And on the other side, this is an unconventional slow round coming in from 6 Karma, and Sabor will be at least able to spot out the operator. So that's a good piece of information that Maestro is now opping.
Yeah, again, now you amp it up, but the Vice Util has yet to be cleared here, so you have to fake out the Sheer, and you don't have a Yoro to decoy for it, so you have to just fly in with the help of Mephisto, who flies right into a fault line, that's tossed on top of Heaven to try to crunch on a Gobshoots, but he'll duck back behind the smoke.
Wow.
Now he'll get cleared. Mephisto just always wins those, man, I'm telling you. 6 Karma's gonna waltz right onto A site, clean, scot-free. Arcro's not doing a damn thing with the help of that Nebula that was set up by Sabor as well. The setup is so clean. Cataclysm up reaction from Red Canids. Again, a little early to the party here, but 6 Karma this time feels far more prep for it. A lot more main presence, and now that Hunter's Fury from a deep distance, Peloncito just playing keep away as the rest of the team starts to get a clean visage. FRZ also tapped for 80 in the meantime, and there's so much less presence. Maestro has to do a dry clear with the help of that flash just to make some space onto A main, but this backwards angle from Heaven and the Link is still doing so much damage. Mephisto continuing to reign supreme, and the Cove can't even protect for half. At least RGL deals with one threat, but there are still so many more ults on the table for 6 Karma. Double digits in their hand. Utter dominance on the attack at the moment.
The other side of the coin being showcased there with the ultimates that are online. 6 Karma so ready for all of the things that Red Canids were going to throw at them. You see the positioning on the map. Make sure that they completely stay clear of it and have enough utility to stall things out. Play the long game. Play intelligently so that when it comes down to those moments, they can overwhelm and dominate the site. Excellent retake, excellent read coming through from 6 Karma, really to counter what should have been Red Canids' choice of the, Red Canids' map with how they wanted to play things out. They're onto a pistol round. Things are getting dire for Red Canids.
So I just got to walk up this time. Maestro actually going to grab the first blood. Sabor caught off guard and alone. And Maestro, now with that rifle in hand, is just going to keep on walking. TP late. Peloncito's got you there. And that's one chance, one idea, one opportunity gone.
Take flight.
6 Karma just 2 rounds away from nipping this in the bud. Everybody's so thin. There's just nothing. There's no bones to this defense right now, Marks.
Really isn't, and Osera getting a little bit of pressure there, but is still able to secure so much of that room, drains out a bit of utility as well. Paranoia gets used in the middle of all of that, and nobody home at all. Doesn't matter though, 6 Karma, they will be ending onto the site. Keep in mind, once again, weapon advantage online. Ozera just needs to click that trigger, and that would have been a secured kill, but smoke will do enough to deter. Well, here comes the cavalry.
I think that's great. You make enough noise, you have enough of a presence to get the stack there, and then you just completely decimate them when they think you're not actually going to commit. A perfect way to make sure that even this eco round, even the one that has already been kind of choked by Red Canids, is guaranteed against them. 6 Karma continuously showing the respect for a team that is liable to get those dominoes back up at any moment. Still though, 5 rounds of match point for Mexico's sole representatives at Ascension. This has been a marvelous first match from them, regardless of how it concludes. But it looks like that might be in this next round, Marcus.
Yeah, it's still looking really good for 6 Karma here. What I'm seeing on the Red Cannon side right now is a lot of carry syndrome, where you see the individual players be like, oh my goodness, I need to make a play right now, and I need to make this happen. I'm gonna go off script a little bit, try and find something happen. Maestro was the one who did that last round, but then ends up losing their life trying to make that play. And the issue is right now, under this pressure, those moments are gonna happen more and more often. Red Cannons know exactly what they're facing, and 6 Karma are so ready for the win as Prozin already goes down.
They set up like 3 separate trap plays with all that util at the same time. 6 Karma is just overwhelming in every sense of the word. RGL headed all the way back to T, and it's cleared by Ozera. Every portion of this laundry list covered, signed, sealed, delivered, and it's Maestro stuck with this operator, maybe able to get Sabor. Nope, he's gone. Made the noise, don't matter a bit. 6 Karma have the site for free. No more saving available too.
At least the Yoru ult is available here, but this is just so difficult. Up against 5. Here we go.
He's gonna go for it. Has to make up the lost time. Saturate on the backside. Gabshi's not slowed down, but into the double peek. It's so tough. And Maestro just tries to re-up it. He can't make a dent either. 6 Karma, 2-0 to kick off their play-in. What a beginning as the green wave grows.
I am feeling pretty good about my predictions right now because, yeah, I was looking at the 6 Karma squad. I was so impressed with just the level of talent that was coming through there, but also how they play off of one another. You know, they're not so rigid. They're willing to be dynamic. They're willing to adjust themselves in order to make those plays. And you know that they've got the talent in those gun duels to really carry them across the finish line. Red Cannons feeling the pressure a little bit on land, despite the fact that they had so many of those experienced players on the actual side. But they are not out of things yet. There still is Winthrop University representatives of North America. And while only 2 of these teams can advance, one of them will get eliminated, but 6 Karma are on the right path right now to secure themselves in the proper Ascension tournament.
Yeah, the pressure being put on these regional teams. Red Canids, that 1 loss against Winthrop away, and they'll have a couple hours to mull over how they can react to that. Meanwhile, 6 Karma, they'll have to turn right around and maintain this now 12-round